I did it again. I did it again. Hey, YouTubers and friends, how you doing tonight? I'm doing absolutely fabulous. I'm glad to see all my friends here. And I have some great guests tonight. We have Ken Snyder, the American Prospector, and who is the sidekick to the inventor, the genius mind of Klint Washburn. And we'll be right back, and don't go away, because we'll be right back. Oh, so how you doing, Jesse? Hello.
Doing good, doing good, doing good. I had to unmute myself.
Yeah, I did that. I always tell myself, unmute yourself, and right off the bat. And I'm lucky I caught it faster this time.
Well, I would have helped you out there because I told you to, to unmute yourself just before you started, but I was muted. Oh well.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Well, I know Dano and I had a great weekend. How was your weekend?
Well, it was good. I'm still working on trying to get another vehicle, but I just want to mention about uh, mental health. Uh, I just had a nephew just took his life, unfortunately. Um, he has been struggling with depression, and I'm not really sure what, but it's really a hard thing to do. It's not anything we will ever be able to understand why anyone would do this, but it is a real problem. It is a real disease. It's not anything that you should be ashamed of. So I just want to, I guess, give a shout out to my nephew, Brian. We'll miss you and we love you.
Well,
And
can we have a moment of silence for Brian? For just this.
that would be cool. So, like I said, this is if you're having problems and you're having mental issues, do what you can to take care of it. Don't let it build up.
Oh, I know I do. Whenever I get mental, I go prospecting. It's not quite.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not
I
quite
hear that's
enough.
a good. That hell yeah, that's good. That's good therapy right there.
Uh,
Um,
I know a lot of friends that it's also their means of helping coping, and you know.
right.
Um, well, with no further ado, why don't we bring in our newest member to the lineup here at Tuesday night's Hangout Live? Everybody, Jesse and I decided to bring in Rignad Man in as a full-time co-host of our weekly show, and our good friend Dano the Mano, Rignad Man himself here on YouTube.
Dano the Mano.
I
Evening,
know how
gentlemen.
you I know how your weekend was, buddy. You were camped right next door, and we were dredging in the same doggone hole and having
That's
a
right.
real good time.
Had a heck of a weekend. That was a great weekend. I ain't been in a creek like that yet this year. That's the first time.
Oh,
Every time we
yeah.
go, it's flooded. Something goes on. It was just nice to get in the creek and go.
Yeah, and I see some people in here. It would have been really nice if they would have made it, like our friend, the creator, Mr. Tim Grimes.
Oh, I know someone. I would have really enjoyed going down there.
Oh
I
yeah,
missed
me
out, man.
too. Jesse
You did miss out.
Mendez,
I
Toledo
missed
Jess
out.
himself. We really missed you, buddy.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, not much I can do, and again, my luck this last few weeks has not been too good. The situations, you know, as you all know, I got my car smashed into by a drunk driver again. It's been totaled, and I'm just waiting for the insurance to take care of me. They've pretty much taken care of the vehicles. Actually, both our cars got hit. My wife's car is coming out Thursday, and I have to go car shopping again. I hope I get something better
Jeez.
this time.
You just did that not too long ago.
I only had this car about 4 months.
Buy a tank. Buy a tank.
Right.
Yeah.
Buy a tape. Yeah.
I need to put barricades behind my car.
There you go.
But I don't think they let you do that on the street. Oh well.
No, but you could park a tank on the street, couldn't you?
I don't know.
That's
I
a
have to
pretty
find out.
that's a pretty tight street when we went there. When we were doing that Boy Scout thing, that was a pretty tight little street you live on there.
Well, and you know what? Here's the worst thing about that street. It because it's actually wide enough for two vehicles in a parking lane, right? The problem with the street is that when they widened it out to that point, they didn't move the telephone poles. So now the telephone poles are like inches away from the curb. So as you're driving down the road on that side, you see another car coming, and you don't want to get over anymore because the telephone poles are right there.
Right, take a mirror off.
Oh,
Right.
well, yeah. If you look about 8 feet up, every pole has a mark for where the buses have hit the mirror on the poles, because they can get over as far as they can, and you know. But that actually my accident, this one had nothing to do with it being a narrow road. It had to do with a drunk driver. I hate drunk drivers. Flat
Yeah.
out, a drunk driver.
I'm with you.
You know, too bad. I mean, he lived. I know that's pretty harsh, but just how I feel. So, I missed out going to Bill's.
Yes.
Yep.
That's some good gold.
Missed some
right.
good breakfast.
Oh,
Yeah.
delicious breakfast.
You're making me jealous. So my
Well-
next thing is going to be Gold Rush days. I'm pretty much relegated to only being able to go Gold Rush days this month or next
Hey,
month.
I'm
For-
staying.
for now.
I'm staying the whole thing, Jesse. I'm not just day tripping. I'm staying the whole trip.
Nice.
Excellent.
Very good.
Gano's Camp Chef.
All right. Well, that means we'll have to let him into our camp, huh?
I'm in your camp all the time, buddy.
I
More
know.
than I'm in mine.
Well, no. Well, I don't know how it's going to work this time because we're going to be in the vendors row this year.
yeah, well, I'm gonna be over at the campgrounds is where I'm gonna be, over to extra overflow.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
We'll be on the midway. So
I'm actually gonna be helping the OSPA with the summit.
Well, it's either going to be us in a vending booth, we hope, or we'll be working the summit also.
now,
But as of now, it's going to be, we got a vending booth. We're going to be selling some Dream Mat.
yeah. So if you need a dream mat, come to the Swank West property Labor Day weekend and look for Ed and Jesse. I'll have a brand new banner up, a Flash in Your Pan banner. So
That's some cheap advertising there.
Now you're supposed to say it right now, and that's not all.
Wait, there's more. So, like I
Grab
said,
it for your gold cube today.
right. Well, and plus, I'm working on. There's a guy that developed what he calls a speed banker for the
Right.
Dream Mat. Especially, it was built around the Dream Mat. What's really cool about it is you've only got one tailing pile. Everything goes out the front, right over the mat, up to 3-inch rocks.
Huh.
So that'll be interesting. That should be fun. So we'll see how that works out. So we're selling and testing at the same time, trying out new products. But yeah, that's where we're at there as far as that. If you want me to go through a couple of outings that are happening here
Yes,
this
please.
next week or so.
Yeah.
Well, we got some LDMA camp events going on. They got, let's see, August 18th through the 22nd. The Blue Bucket, Oregon is having a national outing.
That's a nice property too.
Yeah. There's a boot camp going on at Burnt River the first on August 27th through the 2nd. There's a dredgers camp going on at Vane Mountain, North Carolina, September 13th through the 17th.
I'd like to be going to that one.
Oh yeah, that one sounds like fun. That would
yes,
be fun.
It does.
Yeah, and metal detecting training and hunting in Duesenberg, California, September 30th through the 1st of October. So those are some LDMA events that are going on here in the near future. Plus, there's others going on too, but that's going to be in the later on in the season. So we'll talk about those as they get closer.
Right.
And then don't forget Gold Rush Days.
Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend, right, at the Swank West, which also has a GPA summit going on for the East Coast. That'll be happening. We also, on the East Coast, we've got Indianapolis, Indiana, October 21st through the 22nd, the GPA Gold Treasure Show.
Yeah, and anyone here from the Midwest could meet our guests there.
Both yeah,
Ken
you guys are gonna.
Klint
Yeah, I think they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Right. And then North Concord, North Carolina, October 28th through the 29th at the Cabarrus Arena. So that's all for now.
And you should have told them, Ed, they'll get to meet all of us at the Indiana Gold Show.
Hell yeah. No, better than that. We'll get to meet them.
That's right. True. That's right.
That's true. Better than that. So I think we should bring our guests there. What do you think?
Well, and Patrick's put up here in the chat. He said the Indiana outing at the Double D this weekend.
Well, that's true. Thank you, Pat. You already knew that, so I didn't tell you.
The Indiana chapter of the GPA is going to the Ohio State Prospectors Association Double D lease property this weekend. That should be a real good time. I'd like to
joint outing.
Say hi to David Amita Bogan and Dan Zoller and hi and bye Razor. Actually, Razor will be our guest next Tuesday. We have Robert, and I thought I saw Greg in here from Greg Outdoors.
Yes, he was.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for joining us. Patrick and Wendy, Tim Grimes, Ronald, as always, thanks for coming. I changed the show to Tuesday for you, buddy. We have
and then my sister's in the house.
Yeah, saw your sister. We have Mark from Virginia with us. Thank you all for joining us. And with no further ado, let's bring in our friend via the internet and GPS and Prospectors Radio and YouTube, and soon in Indiana, personal friends, Klint Washburn of Gold
Hello,
Claw. How you doing?
Ed. Good.
Hi, Clint.
Thank you for having me on. This is really quite an honor to be with some of the most well-known and most loved prospectors out there.
Oh man, talk about getting stroked! Holy
your
cow!
check's in the mail, Clint.
Yeah.
Well,
I put a bonus in there for that.
one of my first experiences when I finally decided to go public was I was out on Prospectors Radio, and everybody knew who Ed was out there. And so I started checking in. Who's this Ed guy? And one day, what do you know? I'm on your show. It's pretty amazing.
Well, it's an honor for us to have you here, Clint, and I love the Gold Claw 2. I like the first one, but I love the second one. I was using it this weekend, matter of fact.
Yes,
Those
Mr.
drag
Grimes,
lines
it is
make a
getting
big
deep.
difference, don't they?
Oh,
Well, you know what, Clint, I have your pans, and I've tried them, and I've really been practicing. But I tell you what, if your mindset doesn't get off the traditional way of panning, it's really hard to use your pan. I mean, it's not that you can't use it. I find that I'm still doing my circles. I'm still, even after this amount of time, because I've had one now since you brought them out.
Well,
I like it.
You are not the first person we've seen that's struggling with that. When I was looking for a good pan, I was looking everywhere, and I knew what it would take to make a pan fast and work well. And so I finally realized one day I'm going to have to do it myself, and I'll tell you the long story later. But I remember when the first prototype was done, and I was going to my very first gold dig with it, thinking this is going to be for all the pros and the beginners. Maybe they'll eventually figure out how to use it. And what has shocked me is it's exactly opposite. All the experienced people have muscle memory that there's this circular motion that everybody does, and it's a learned feel, the technique for gold panning that's so hard to let go of because it's become natural.
yeah,
Well, yeah, like you said,
second
muscle
nature.
memory.
Right.
Yeah, but that dig, it kind of opened my eyes because I went after I had shown all the experienced people how to use it, and they were awkwardly trying it. Then the 6-year-old daughter of the Gold Club president asked if she could try, and I remember thinking, sure, here, give it a go. So I didn't really even show her how. I just thought she just wanted to play with it for a minute, and all she did was watch. And she did exactly what she was supposed to do intuitively, and perfectly panned down to the black sand in in less than 30 seconds. And my first thoughts were, sure, the daughter of a Gold Club president, right?
Surely she knows how to pan.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why she could do that. But then I was curious, and I went home and I got my neighbors. The videos of the kids you see out on my Gold Claw channel on YouTube, those are just my neighbors. And I thought, let's give them a try and see if it's the same thing. And they did exactly what she did. If you watch those videos, it's just what I saw when she did it.
Yeah, I watched those videos. I was pretty impressed, But like I said, when I got to try it, man, it's just so difficult. I mean, it's not. I understand the concept, and it really is a simple concept to use. But when you learn how to pan a certain way, and all of a sudden you got this guy come, hey, I got this great new device. All you got to do is do this, and you're done. And you go, okay, that sounds cool. And you try to do it yourself. Your muscle memory doesn't want to work with you.
Wants to go in circles. It really does. And it's not just the circles. You want to create liquefaction through the circles.
Right.
And there's a feel that keeps the gold in the right place in the pan so it doesn't start walking up the edge. And all those motions in the gold claw are counterintuitive. They work against you. But once you do figure out what it's doing, well, let me put it this way. It's not all experienced gold panners. There's different techniques out there, right?
Right.
When we were playing around with the gold claw up in, I guess it was Portland at the gold show, we had all the celebrities showing up, and one of them was the boat captain, or the boat captain's dad, right? That showed up and
He's referring to Steve Pomrinky, by the way.
yes,
I figured that's who he was talking about, but
he came over and was panning with us, and because he works with the nastiest there is. I mean, you're talking it's black sand, but it's not just black sand; it's beach black sand. And so he's had to change his technique to keep it. And guess what he does? He does not do circles. He goes side to side in a standard pan. And so
that's how he was panning anyways.
That's how he had to adapt to pan the nastiest, worst stuff. And so once you understand the principles that are going on and you get that feel for it, it's intuitive why the gold claw is doing everything it's doing. It's creating liquefaction, but it's doing it in a side-to-side motion. So the gold, if it's being tossed sideways, not out. And the lighter material then trades places with the heavier materials, so they go down. And those lighter materials being on top, they run out of space, and they have to float out
somewhere. You gotta go somewhere.
And so it's kind of like skimming the cream off the milk, but what you're doing it with gold, and so you're keeping the good stuff. It's the heavy stuff, and it's still liquefaction. But think about panning. You shake it in a circle, and that's to create liquefaction. The gold starts to work its way down, but because it's so deep, it's only going to go part way down, and so you can only wash off a quarter inch or so. And so there's one cycle that takes time, and then you start over. Then you put it back into liquefaction, give it some good shakes.
Well, that's that was the thing that I did notice about using that pan, is how quick I was able to get down to the black sands, get rid of all that garbage stuff. I mean, it just flows right off. But I think my problem comes when I'm down to the black sands. I think that's when I'm losing most of my gold for some reason.
It could be. Yes, especially if you're trying to go in circles.
Right.
So, and that's what makes the gold claw so fast, is that you don't stop and go through cycles. It's one continuous motion. You're in liquefaction, so the gold and the lights are trading places. The top layer is constantly being skimmed off. And so very quickly you get down to what's heaviest down in the bottom. Now, you mentioned the black sands. If you get a nasty enough black sand, like, for example, a long run, your heavies out of your sluice, there's going to be some pretty nasty black sands in that. Or beach black sands. Once you get to some really nasty material, you're going to want to change your technique a little bit from the videos I've been showing so that you keep all your gold. And I'm actually going to release an advanced video. I've held off because I want to do it with the pocket pan included in it. And now that I have prototypes, I can start to make that video. But most people, especially when they're getting into gold, they're not dealing with the nastiest black sands. They're dealing with river gravels.
Right. Gravel, sands.
They're doing prospecting, not finishing the heavies after a long. They don't even have a high banker or a sluice yet.
Right. Well, that's the one thing I did like about your pan, was the ability to go out to the stream and dig in the dirt with it to do samples and really quick figure out whether there's anything there. I mean, in the field, I think it would be a lot more useful because you could go out there, dig in, get your pan full, get all the big stuff off, look to see if you're finding any gold. If you're not, you toss it and you can move on, you know, as opposed to, you know, digging a shovel full, panning it out, doing a couple pans, you know. So
Classifying it.
right, you know. That gets to be a pain.
So,
But yeah, I like the idea of being able to use that for doing testing like that because it's really quick.
It's really good for testing. I've used it a bit for testing. Really quick.
Right.
I love my banjo pen, but I don't even use that outside of the shed really anymore. I use your pen, Clint. I
well,
saw on a
that's
video though on your Facebook page you were using a blue one. Do you have blue now?
I do.
Oh man, I
We
gotta give
have.
me one of those.
You got to sweet talk me. We've got blue. We've got purple. You can thank Dennis Dayton for that. He pushed and pushed till we did it.
Yeah, we know. does Dennis carry your gold claws?
He's considering it.
Considering it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta throw us.
He wants to
throw us
become
a
one
box
of.
full.
Yeah, he's discussing it with us. So
Well, when he comes on later, we'll have to give him a hard time about it.
yeah, you ask him what's taking so long. So the purple one, though, it's an interesting one because you have black sands, you have gold, and you're trying to separate them. And like Tim Grimes, he loves the black pan, and we did a little proto run, and I made just a few black pans. And I'm thinking if he sweet talks me a little bit, I might send one his way because he loves black so much. But the problem with black, it's really great at showing you the gold. But if there's black sand over there on top of some of your fine gold, it's hard to tell because it blends in with the pan.
Right.
What's so neat about
You
the
don't know-
purple is it shows high contrast on both the gold and the black sand. So you can actually separate the black sand and the gold faster. You can see it easier. So that's a neat color.
So
Plus,
when are your new designs coming out?
well, are you talking the pocket pan or the bigger one?
Well, I know you introduced it at the gold show last year.
Right. Well, I'm holding the pocket pan right now as we speak.
Pocket pan.
The pocket pan. So this one, we now have prototypes. We are talking with tool suppliers, trying to get a quote, and as soon as we have one, which will be in the next few days, hopefully, then we are going to begin a Kickstarter to help fund that tool and get it kicked off, get it launched. So that could be as fast as 4 to 8 weeks. And we'll have a pocket pan.
That's pretty quick. Now,
Huh.
it's the same shape as your gold claw?
Well, it's similar. And it's similar because it uses that DIGS technology just like the gold claw does. But it's small enough that it literally fits in a pair of jeans pockets. You can put it in a pair of blue jeans right down the pocket.
Ooh, nice.
You'll have to send me. You'll have to send me one so I can verify that.
Send us a couple along with the blue one.
Be prospecting in places you've never been
I
before.
can't send the baby one without its mom, huh?
Right.
Yeah, well, that's
Brother.
true. That would be heartless.
Well, if you really want to know, go back to the video we posted when we were at the Vegas show, and you'll see I pulled it out of my jeans pocket to introduce it. I was wearing
Is
jeans.
it on your Facebook page? I have your Facebook.
It should
up
be.
and yeah.
I watched it.
No.
Doesn't mean I can't try to get one from you.
I don't have Facebook.
I got to be honest. I didn't get the pocket pan. Everybody was asking for it, and I'm like, why? The gold claw's perfect. So small you can put it in your backpack and take it with you. Big enough that you can outpan an 18-inch pan because of its. anyone. But now that I have prototypes, it's just the demand. I got to listen to the demand, right? People want the little one, and now that I have it, I am totally falling in love with it.
You understand how simple that, what a neat idea. Anywhere you go, you can pull it out of your pocket and test.
That's a great idea because, like, when you go to the beach, you don't necessarily want to be saying, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm going gold panning. And you pull this innocent little gold pan out of your pocket, and it doesn't look like a gold pan, yet it works great.
Right.
But you know what surprises me, what I'm falling in love with it for, is the finishing. Because I like to work in some of the nastiest black sands. And it takes time to get through really nasty, super fine black sand.
Oh, I have a hard time with it. I'm there hours.
Hours, and how heavy is that pan you're messing with for hours?
Yeah,
versus
that's true.
This little tiny finishing pan that's designed to strip that off quicker. I am falling in love with it. Finishing.
The videos showing right now of you running the blue pan.
There's the blue one at the show.
Yeah.
Trying to see which show that is. I think that was
Jefferson County Fairgrounds.
Is that in Colorado?
Jefferson County. Is that Utah or Colorado?
Gotta be Colorado.
Oh, that was Colorado. That was just outside of Denver.
Oh, okay.
Hey, let's get Ken on here.
Hey,
okay,
Ken.
yeah, he's been kicking back in the background and getting in a chirp here and there.
He's dying to talk.
Yeah, even back there going, hey man, I just let Klint talk, and I just sit here and take credit for being on the show and never say anything.
All right, everybody, we have another fellow YouTuber, and he helps Klint out a bit. I'm not quite sure of their relationship with Gold Claw. We'll find out, but my friend, our friend, and now hopefully your friend, the American Prospector, Ken Snyder. Come on in, Ken. Join the conversation, buddy.
Thanks, Ed. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having us on.
Hey,
it's our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Definitely. So
you were asking,
what is your relationship? Who is it? One of you the businessman, the other one the clown, or I mean,
wait a minute.
I would probably definitely be the clown.
I thought he was talking about me.
Well, one of us is the clown, the other one's the serious one. It's what makes the show go, right?
The way we met, I did not see him as a clown. He kind of scared me when we met. My wife was doing her thing. She's a body language expert, and his wife was there hanging out with her at the event, and they were talking, and one wife said to the other, my husband does gold, and the other one goes, oh really, so does mine. And the next thing you know, Ken's wife is telling him, hey, this guy has a new gold pan and it's out there on Kickstarter. And so Ken, you may tell the story a little differently, but the way I remember it is this guy calls and says he wants to come see it, and he has that sound in his voice. You know, the one like, are you for real? Because if you're not, I'm gonna pound you. You know that sound?
Right.
And then he says, I want to come see this thing. And so he comes over to the house, knocks on the door, and he's like, let's go check it out. And he basically said, I want to see if this is BS or not. And so we went out back, and Ken, you can jump in here anytime you want. And we pulled out the Gold Claw, and I just showed him real quick, this is how it works and what it does. And you should have seen the priceless look on his face. He was just like, what?
So I won't contradict anything that he said, other than the fact that I believe our wife said something about crazy gold guys. It wasn't just gold guys.
Nutty, wacky. I can't remember the word. Insane.
So
we tend to have our times too.
So he's absolutely right. I showed up over there. Two things that I absolutely hated when I got back into gold prospecting is the amount of how do I say this, gimmick equipment that hits the market. And as gold guys, we're constantly looking at how do we move more material faster. When you see these gimmicks out there, sometimes they look like they might be appealing. So when I looked at what Klint was offering, I thought, a pan, really? You're going to tell me you invented a new pan? Pans have been around since the beginning of time. And so I show up over there at his door, and I said, okay, I got to see this thing. And he handed it to me, and it kind of looked like, I don't know how to describe it other than to say it kind of looked like a banana boat, like you'd serve a Sunday.
It looks like it looks like a banana split bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just looked at him and I said, really? And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay, let's see it work. And when he filled the pan up and worked it down in about 7 seconds, and there was actually gold in there, I went, okay, show me again. And I made him slow it down and show me again. And then I made him show me a third time and explain to me what was going on. And from then on, I was sold. I've never seen anything that works quite so fast and quite so effectively. And that hasn't even gotten into the technical side of it. So that's kind of how we joined forces. I told him I'd love to help him get this thing to the market, and we've been working on it ever since. Just a couple of kids out of Utah.
That's kind of funny. So what kind of prospecting did you do?
So for me,
Ken.
Both of you.
Go ahead, Ken.
Well, why don't you? Your stories are much more interesting than mine. So go ahead.
Well, I love your stories, but my dad is a
Where's
geologist.
my hip boots?
My dad is a geologist, and so I was introduced to a gold pan when I was just a little kid, but it was one of those metal ones, the old timer style.
The kind I got hanging on my wall.
Which I actually really like metal. It kind of grips onto the gold. It has some neat properties. But so I learned panning when I was a kid on an old timer style pan, and I remember panning and in my yard, digging holes and not finding much gold. But that's my story. Basically, is that my dad got into gold. He started off as an oil and gas geologist, but then when he got close to retiring, he switched over to precious metals exploration. And so he was helping companies find their gold. And and that's when I really got that's when the light came on in my eyes for gold. And I remember one day I was at college and I was in engineering. I had kind of I don't know how to explain it other than I was a little freakish with inventions when I was a kid. I did things like I put a 25,000 volt generator on my little brother's bicycle and hooked it up to the horn. And so first I put a horn on it, and then I reconfigured it as a 25,000 volt generator. And sure enough,
said, "Here, touch this."
I didn't have to. He just pushed the horn, and then he just went tumbling. Poor kid. But I did that kind of stuff. I tapped every room in our house, and my mom came in one day and pushed play on the recorder and heard her voice. "You can go to jail for that." And I'm like, well, oops. I just had that kind of brain. I wanted to figure out how everything worked. But my dad's talking to me at college, and I'm trying to be an inventor because I'm going to engineering school, and he starts talking about the woes of their gold machines and how they're sluicing, and they have centrifuges and all these different things they're trying to do to get the gold out. And I just stopped him and I said, "Dad, why are all these machines doing the same thing? They're all trying to remove dirt with water flow. That's a totally different force than what gold is famous for. It's heavier. Water is suspension. It's flow. It's drag. Why are we trying to drag the gold away when gravity is what it's truly unique?" And I remember his comment. He goes, "Son, they've been separating gold this way since the time of the Egyptians." And I just couldn't accept that. I was just like, that that just can't be the best way to separate gold. And then years later, after I got an engineering degree and I was working for a company and I got access to a machining room, I made my first prototype, which was successful, but I was busy. And then finally my dad got to a point where he was really retiring. And I don't know what it is about gold, but a lot of those projects they were on, by the time they were up to the millions of dollars of recovered gold, they all lost their minds. And they often ended in litigation where they were trying to get it. And that's not my dad's nature at all. And so he kind of walked away from it, just not happy at all. And I'm like, how do I get my dad's passion back? So I just invited him, let's go make this invention work. Let's get it done.
So your dad helped you with that, huh?
He did. He went up with
Cool.
he went up with me to Alaska where we did all of our prototyping. And we took the first machine up there and refined it, and spent a couple of years really understanding all not just the physics, but the nuances and the gotchas, and getting equipment to where it was getting it. Basically, the technology was designed. Now we had to make it production ready. And during that, right at the end, it was about a couple of years ago, I had this epiphany where I'm like, I'm trying to build this equipment, and I know how to manufacture. I know how to design because of my other job that I had, and it's complex equipment. I got to create components and supply chain, and I was fighting, gold pans constantly. I had up to 30 gold pans that I had purchased just trying to find a good one.
Sounds
and I
like
finally
every
realized,
prospector I know.
exactly.
Oh,
Exactly, but because
let me count mine.
I have this huge box full of gold pans, but I remember when it finally dawned on me. I had bought my last fancy gold pan from Europe, big expensive pan. Just the shipping was $50, and it was a pretty good pan actually. And it wasn't that much better than anything else, and I had spent so much time on the gold separation machine, I knew exactly how to get it to separate. I finally realized I'm just going to have to make it, and that's when I had the epiphany. It's so much simpler than a machine. Let me start with a pan. So I guess
starts and ends with the pan.
I guess I'm kind of hinting that there's machines on the way, but
well, yeah, I've been listening.
to.
I was going to ask you about that. You've been talking about machine. What I was going to ask you was, are you calling your pan a machine, or
no?
You have a
I think he has
machine.
some other goodies besides the pocket.
There's some things we haven't gone public with. We're not totally afraid to talk about it, but we haven't announced anything. But machines are really where my heart is. I love what those machines do. But it does begin and end with a pan, and a pan is so much simpler that's how we decided, let's stop making machines, let's put it on pause, and let's get a pan out there so people can understand there's a different way to separate gold than the way they've been doing it.
So your initial invention is not the gold claw then?
No.
I see.
Is it a fluid bed system?
It is not.
Like the gold
It is
claw
not.
is essentially.
It is.
Hey, Clint.
It is.
Clint?
It is. Yes, Ken.
Can I tease him just a little bit?
Sure, go ahead. You seem to like to.
So, I introduced the bigger pan that we've come up with. We've affectionately termed it the dozer, right? Because it's like a bulldozer. Right. We have another piece of equipment that I'm calling a 5-gallon separator. And this thing, all I'm going to tell you is that I introduced the dozer by saying, get rid of your sluice box. I'm about ready to tell you to get rid of your high bankers and get rid of your, any other piece of equipment that you want, because this is going to simplify your life incredibly. Shovel in, pull out. That's probably the easiest way I can tell you. So, and remember, you'll be able to process a lot of material, because basically what's going into this 5-gallon separator, if you will, is your cons will fall into the bucket. Your big stuff comes out of the top.
Hey, we've got one of those.
Oh, you don't have one of those. Trust me.
Well,
we have the bucket.
well,
Well,
yeah, but
this is much different than a bucket.
okay.
Well,
You have
Now,
which bucket? A 5 gallon bucket?
well, it's
Yeah.
the CMO Gold Outfitters, the bucket. And they claim you'll never have to carry a bucket again. And when we use it, we never have to carry a bucket.
we don't carry buckets.
Good.
Nonetheless, here, let me jump in here real quick. If you need a couple other beta testers besides you and Ken, you have my
Oh, yeah,
address,
absolutely.
Clint.
And I mean, Clint, I mean, I'm sure you realize that's what we do. That's how Ed and I got together, trying out new products, because one of us is a newbie, so we're interested in all the new stuff, and one's an old grizzled prospector that's willing to try new stuff. So that's how we got
the
together.
sourdough and the greenhorn. You have to
Right.
figure out that.
That's funny.
So
Well, I
that's
can
what,
assure you guys of this, is that we definitely will be looking for feedback when we're ready to release those two new pieces of equipment.
I'm sure we'd be happy to give you some too.
Yep. So we'll definitely look into that. The thing that I want to impress upon everybody that may be listening is that one of the biggest principles that Clint brings to the market with his inventions is that he's all about trying to simplify things to make your life easier and make it a lot more convenient. For instance, black sands. We all know that 90% of us take our black sands home at some point and process them when we have downtime, because it's just a pain.
Yeah.
You know, Clint wanted to develop something that would give you the opportunity to process your black sands right there on the river or the stream or up in the mountain, wherever you happen to be, and not have to carry that stuff home. Because really what's making us money is gold. It's not black sand. It's not, gravel. It's
Right.
gold.
We're not
Yeah.
prospecting for black sands.
I don't
we're,
mind for black sands, right?
Although I do take rocks home with me. So
I'm guilty.
Way
of that
too many rocks.
Well, I'll make a little confession. I'm not really a recreational gold guy. I'm more of a production gold guy. And I don't think in terms of how do I make it work. I think in terms of how do I get lots of gold.
Well, I can understand that logic, Clint.
No, absolutely.
With no effort.
With no effort.
Not even a little effort, huh? You want no effort.
I don't know how to get away from a little effort. Any way I can eliminate effort, it's gone.
I know, like like Swiftwater said, once you get your pan dialed in and you break the habit of your muscle memory, that you can buzz through pan after pan after pan. Like you were talking about one time, I heard you said you were moving more material than people were with river sluices. And
yeah,
realistically,
Ken and I were both parallel mining, and that's exactly what happened.
And I've run several tests since then, just on myself, just to see how fast I can get with the Gold Claw or with a regular river sluice. And it's just it's hands down. I can process twice as much material, twice as fast with a Gold Claw as I can with a river sluice. It just takes so long to classify it down, and then, once you've got it classified down, maybe once or twice, now you've got to scoop out of your bucket into your sluice box. You can't overload your sluice box, otherwise you're going to blow your gold out.
Right,
so
you gotta
just
be
got a certain amount of
cautious about
time.
what you're doing.
Yeah, so you just have a certain amount of time no matter what. And with the Gold Claw, I can kind of speed up or slow down based on what I'm seeing, and that's what I like about it. If I do a first couple of passes and I'm not seeing a lot of gold, I can go ahead and process on to the next. Whereas with a bucket and a sluice like that, you pretty much got to get down to the bottom, because while it's sitting there, the gold's working its way to the bottom of that bucket. So
Right.
So
a lot of benefits.
To me, so now we're talking about that larger Gold Claw, really, because for me, I want to process a 5-gallon bucket in very little time because I need a big sample because I'm looking for a production gold area. But what about hands and pans people, right? They can't use a high banker or a dredge or anything.
Right, because there's places that don't allow it. Right.
Exactly. This is how you mine full scale with hands and pans.
Well, that would work good like in Yellowwood State Forest and what's that other one, Dano, over there in Indiana?
Morgan Monroe, the
Yeah,
Morgan Monroe Forest.
where all you're allowed is a little shovel and a gold pan, or even Wayne National Forest here in Ohio. No sluice, no nothing, just a pan and a hand spade. And I believe PA's a bit like that in New York,
Tennessee,
West Virginia.
Right. And pan's only places.
And
well, think about this. If you guys are divers at all, now you can dive down with this, fill it up, come back up and pan it down.
You don't need to come back up.
I was just going to
do it right under the water.
Yeah.
So,
you do it under.
So divers who like dredging, you can do your panning underwater without coming up. You don't need the water flow in and out of your pan.
Huh.
It's designed to be underwater when you pan.
So literally, I could be in my hole. Say I have my hook on. I'm 8 feet deep, and I see several different layers in there. I could actually pull from each layer and do a sample pan. Boom, right there at the bottom of my hole.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's interesting.
My address is 13.
So, we introduced the Gold Claw just to introduce the Diggs technology. It's using liquefaction without the water flow, without suspension. And the pocket pan just helps you make it a lot more portable. But man, I am falling in love with it for finishing, especially drawing out nasty black sands.
Oh, I'll bet. You get down to that, you got your coffee can full of black sands from earlier, and you take your little pocket one out there, and you sit there and you clean it up. But you can send mine to Lou down in Alabama. She could use something like that. She can't dredge anymore.
She a diver?
Oh, yes. Yeah. She, Lou from GPS down in Alabama. She can't dredge anymore in the river.
So she needs the dozer.
Yes.
We need help naming that thing. That's our internal name right now, is the dozer.
The dozer?
The dozer, huh?
Well,
yeah, we called the Gold Claw the excavator internally.
Yeah.
And this one the dozer, but now we got to give it a street name.
So while you guys are thinking about some creative name, I want to also make sure we point out a couple of things. In the original Diggs, there were several different design features that Klint incorporated. For instance, a lot of people on the side panel don't even notice the riffles that are there, but there's a really fine edge of riffles there, and that's for really good cleanup at the very end. And I've got it to where I can get down to just gold. There's actually no black sand left in the pan. On top of that, you have drag lines on the front side, or what we call the riffle side, and that's so that you can go ahead and classify on that big side. But what it does is those small drag lines slow the gold down so it can't climb too fast, and you don't have to worry about pouring it out over the top of the pan.
My dig is the original one, so I don't have all those extra.
So, and that's the 2017 model now has extra drag lines in it. And so the new pocket pan that Klint keeps talking about, a couple of things that have changed that are still similar features to what we had in the original Gold Claw, but are enhancements, is there's some vertical lines in the bottom of the pan now too. So if you happen to be working your sands down to one end, it'll slow it down so that the gold traps in behind those riffles. The angles and pitches of this pan are a little bit deeper than what we saw in the original Diggs. So just between the portability of this pan, what you can do with it as far as sniping, or if you're working bedrock and trying to get out of the cracks, you can snipe right into it. Or if you're just doing sampling, like Klint alluded to, happen to be out on a hike and you want to take a little pan with you to see if there's any gold in that area, this goes right into your jacket pocket or your back pocket, no issue. So
And
there's just a lot of cool features.
And it just grabs the gold. It's amazing. Pulls it right out.
It sounds like a, like I said, like well, imagine being out in California too, where you can't dredge, but you got a hookah, and you get down to the bottom.
Right. You could actually use it as a sniping tool. Have your hookah and your weights on, and be hitting some cracks, and pull it out and put it into your gold claw, and boom, right there at the bottom of your hole, or on the river, whatever.
Yeah, if you're crevicing or working cracks, you don't need a big pan.
No.
You want a small pan.
You can do a small pan.
Gets in the way.
Awesome for that. No, but I was talking about the what do you call it? The speed demon.
The dozer.
Name.
Mark the bald one, yeah. Speed demon, and Patrick Moore, the Terminator, destroys dirt and saves gold.
Some of these people. But yeah, that would Lou Atwell, she would definitely use one. She get back in the river and get some more gold, because they got stopped from dredging down in Alabama. In fact, when we were down there on our trip down there on the outing for the GPS a couple years ago, she got stopped from dredging, so she hasn't been able to dredge. This might be something that
it's
could
just
really work
on
out
that
for her.
One river she lives on.
Well,
right?
That's where she lives.
I know, but there's more than one river in a state.
Right.
She's not, her and Robert's not dredging one iota, or?
No.
Well, that sucks.
I think it's a statewide thing, Ed. I don't think it's just that stream. I think it's a statewide thing.
Well,
it's a regulation.
Talk to Lou about that.
Yeah.
But still,
I know that's something she could use. I mean, people like that get pulled out of the water. She can go in the water. She just can't dredge.
Now, do you have any promotions going on right now at all, Clint?
Well, I have a team I just barely invited to help me try and figure that out. This new social media internet age is crazy.
It is.
Figure it out. And so I've got some people that say they can help me figure that out. So they're going to be playing around out there with some stuff, and they're going to throw out some pricing things and some combos. You might want to pay attention and snag one that while they're testing the low edge of things. But they're going to be putting some things out in the next few weeks that you might want to pay attention to.
And who is this putting it out?
Just a team of people that I hired to help me that say they're really good at the internet.
Ah.
Their name is 3 Degrees. Number 3 Degrees with a Z at the end.
Gotcha.
And they're on the Facebook?
Those guys, yeah, they will be out on Facebook doing that social media marketing stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely keep an eye out for it.
Yes. I have to keep my watch out. So, how are they are you giving them your friends list?
Are you asking me to do something special for this group?
For this group, that would be cool. I don't know.
That would be definitely cool.
Let's find out if they want
they're
some
smart
kind of
enough to take advantage of it. If you do,
I mean, maybe they don't want. Maybe they don't want a deal.
I see Tim Grimes online. He always grabs me and says, "What do you got for us?" So
is that what we got? All right.
Well,
Clint, what do you got for us tonight?
I will do something for you guys tonight.
All right, cool.
But it will end when the show ends.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll do something very short.
You mean I got to buy something now?
So I might let it linger another 10, 20 minutes so people don't feel like they lost it. But here's what I'll do. We have never sold the pan other than when we do a Kickstarter, we'll drop it down a little extra because people are helping us get those molds built and stuff.
Right.
Other than on a Kickstarter, this is probably as low as I've ever offered a single pan. So if you go on our store right now, which I think I saw you had that up, if you just go to goldclaw.com, it's posted at $49.95 for a single pan. And if you go on there and put that in your shopping cart and type in discount code, we'll make it ED17, so ED17, ED17, then I will make it $34.95, which is, I think that's as low as I
what?
a single pan. $34.95.
That's a real good price.
Yeah, right now it's at $49.90. That is true.
Remember, the code is ED17.
So ED17 at goldclaw.com, and I'll leave that offer up until the end of the show. I'll probably turn it off, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes after the show ends.
Cool. Very
All right,
cool.
just for you, Ed, because you asked.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint, tell me that price again.
It's $34.95, normally $49.95.
Is that with shipping or plus shipping?
There will be some shipping on there, depending on where you're from.
Right. Sounds good.
You do, yeah. I love PayPal.
Oh, me too. I get Ed send me money, and he gets me to send him money, and
Well, I see Mr. Tim is actually listening to the show tonight.
yeah, I saw that.
You posted it on the chat. Excellent. Did you
Yes.
put the code on there? There it is.
I did. ED17, $34.95.
So, something I kind of want to share. You were talking about the machine, and my heart is really there because it's going to be the first real major production machine. But we were testing that thing, and when you sluice, we were probably running, depending on which machines we were running, between 25 yards an hour and 100 yards an hour up there in Alaska. Those when you've ran for a week, that is the nastiest black sand that's left in your sluice. And how do you get rid of that? Has anybody here experienced that before? It's
Teaspoon
a
at a
nightmare.
time.
Yep, spoon at a time.
50 5-gallon buckets.
That's a lot of spoons.
That's a lot of spoons.
After 1 inch, you've gone insane. And so
I'm
this
sure.
is the dilemma of commercial production people. And so you start getting shaker tables, you get wheels, you've got jigs, you've got finishing sluices.
Water tables.
Water tape. There's all these techniques that we use to try and get that gold off it. And our best techniques before we introduced the digs, we were losing 30 to 40% of the gold consistently out of those heavy blacks. Who knows what we were losing out of the sluice? That's running water, and running water is displacement. It's those second set of forces. So who knows what we're losing out of the sluice, but just out of the heavies, we were losing 30 to 40%. And the way we know that is because when we went back to our tailings piles of our heavies, we were running them through this new machine, the dig system, the machine itself, and we were recovering 30 to 40% more after.
Wow.
The shaker tables, the wheels, all the different techniques.
You know, it's funny because my wife asked me, why are you hanging on to all that dirt? Why are you hanging on to all that dirt?
because you know there's gold in it.
Yeah, because I know. First of all, I'm not the greatest painter in the world, you know. So I know I lose, so I save anyways. But even when I have it cleaned out pretty good, where I think I've got all the gold, I save it knowing there's going to be a new machine out there. It's going to come out, and I'm going to try it, and I'm going to find more gold.
And out comes your gold.
Yeah, and out comes, you know, I've surprised myself a couple of times on a couple of different products that we've tried out. So yeah, I'm definitely always interested in something new.
Well, I've thrown way too many teaspoons deep into the loop.
Yeah, out of
frustration. And this machine is so fast at production. So at production speeds, basically running 50 5-gallon buckets in about an hour's time.
Wow.
We're getting 99.5% of the gold.
That's pretty fast.
That's really fast.
That's fast.
A prototype machine.
So let me
have nasty, heavy black sands, that is your machine.
And not to mention, you're not even pulling out magnetics. You're painting it all.
You put it all in. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Black sands, all of it. Put it in.
See, when I do a cleanup, I always take all the magnetics out, and then I end up repainting them because I take them out with the earth magnet. So, you know, therefore I've made my process even longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of processes out there to get more gold, but it slows you down so much that it becomes non-commercial at some point. And
you know what? I lose interest. I have a hell of a time. I enjoy myself out on the creek, digging and classifying material and looking for gold. And you know, I get home and I start going through all my finds, and I get really bored, and it's no longer fun at that point, you know, for me anyways. So it sits. I have buckets, I have cans, coffee cans full of just like black sands that I know has gold in it, but it's just a lot of effort to do all that panning, you know. I got other things to do too. So
well,
yeah,
is panning fun, or is putting gold in a vial fun? Which one's really the fun?
I'd rather just really
it's getting
fun
the
for
gold.
me is it's getting the gold out, you know. It's a lot of work. And I've used water tables and I don't care for the wheel.
No, don't care for the blue bowl. Too slow.
Right. I play with a couple of different mats, you know. So, but everything.
My problem
you know,
with them all is they're just too slow. Some of them are very effective, but they're just too slow.
And they're repetitive sometimes too. You gotta run it over
maintenance.
again. Do it again.
You gotta level it just right. You gotta make the water flow just right.
Well, see, now that's the thing about our bucket, or the bucket that we use. If you've seen our video, we have a review on it on our YouTube channel on the bucket, and that's a really simple device to use.
Well, I'd love to go see it. So we have a philosophy at Gold Claw. We do not compete or reject anybody's product. Our philosophy is if somebody came up with it, they were solving somebody's problem. And we encourage that to be out there. We just hope to be the best of all the solutions. But we are not going to ever discourage people from trying or using somebody else's solution because it may be just right for them.
In fact, if I can, I want to elaborate on that just a little bit. Our philosophy is really simple: is that, you know, we're a couple of prospectors that want to make prospecting fun and enjoyable for everyone again. And we know that, you know, especially if you're starting into this endeavor, you can't call it a hobby because it's more than a hobby. You can't call it a passion because it kind of takes over your life in different ways.
It's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. And so when you get back into this, there's a lot of questions that you have. You know, what's the latest equipment? You know, where do I find gold? Especially if you're a new person. You know, you just don't know where to look for gold or what indicators there are out there. You don't know what types of tools there are. Everybody's seen a gold pan, so that's kind of naturally where we start. But Gold Claw's philosophy is that we want to provide the entire mining community, all the way from someone who's just kind of remotely interested, all the way up to a commercial outfit, the opportunity to find the best tools and techniques for their operation, because no single operation is exactly the same. For instance, I couldn't take you guys out of your country out there and bring you out here to Utah and expect that you're going to know exactly where to look for gold. It flows differently here than it does in Indiana or Ohio or Pennsylvania or even California for that matter.
And your sluice setup will be different too.
Right. So what we want to do is we want to provide kind of a one-stop shop for people to be able to come out and say they're new to the hobby. They'll click on this button on our website, and this website's going to be released probably. I'm going to push Klint again outside of his comfort zone. Before the end of this year, we will have this website up and running to where you'll just go in and click on a link in there. If you're a new person, you'll click on the new link. It'll say you need to start with a shovel and a pan. So here's the different types of shovels that you can buy. Here's the different types of pans that you can buy. Here's our pan. Here's why we think it's superior, but the other ones have meaning and purpose
the other ones too.
Right. And then we'll probably provide you a little tutorial on where to find gold in certain aspects or areas of the country. That way you have a general idea. Now, as you progress in knowledge and experience, you'll get more tools. Like, for instance, if you go into the next hobbyist type prospector, that's where you get into sluices and blue bulls and, classifiers, and, now maybe you've got a better basics mining type shovel or a grave digger type shovel. So we want to introduce those different techniques and styles as you get more and more immersed into the gold industry. We want links out there that'll show you what spot prices are. We want to tell you how to go get your gold assessed and know that you're not getting ripped off. We want to give you ways of being able to go out and identify target-rich areas for gold. For instance, we're looking at an app right now that you'll either be able to carry on your phone or on your computer that will, you type in that you're from, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Where's the best gold in Fort Wayne, Indiana? It'll drop pins and show you where to go. And there's a little bit more background to that, but that's just kind of an introduction to what we're trying to do with this, with Gold Claw. And then one of the other aspects is we want to recognize these great inventions that individuals are coming up with. So we're going to do some kind of a rewards and recognition program for the mining industry too. So
that reminds me of something also, Ken. Can you talk a little about your involvement with veterans?
Sure. So I'm a vet. I'm serving the United States Air Force. Was honorably discharged after Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And, when I came back, I kind of had, I don't know how to describe it. No, I wouldn't call it like full-on PTSD, but I had issues when I came back. A car door would slam down the street and I'd be on edge, or if it was the middle of the night and I heard a weird sound, I'd have to get up and check it out and see what it was. So it was kind of hard to transition back into life, and I kept looking for outlets. I was into shooting sports for a long time. I'm really into fishing and outdoor stuff, but nothing kind of satisfied me until one day I picked up a gold pan after not having done it in, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years. And everything was right with the world. You're out there on the river and you just hear the river flowing by and you're working dirt and you're kind of getting a little bit of that tension that's built up out. And I thought, this is a great opportunity to get guys that are suffering from the same symptoms out and give them an opportunity. And so that's what we started, and that's how the American Prospector came about, is that initially we were taking veterans out, but then we started to kind of open it up to other community outreach groups and take just pretty much anybody that wanted to decompress out there to have the opportunity on the river. So really, really proud of our affiliation with the armed forces. And then I think you guys are probably well aware, I didn't have to talk very hard, but I talked to Klint, and he agreed that $1 from every purple pan that we sell will go to support our Wounded Warrior Purple Heart Foundation. And
now, Klint, comes a question to mind. Would that also apply during this promo, during the show also?
It's ongoing. Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. I really appreciate what you do for the vets, and welcome back home, Ken. I'm glad you made it back in one piece. Um, well, I guess not one piece. I know there's always something. Can't take any normal person into battle and have them come back the same regardless, but I'm glad you made it back. And along with my partner, ToledoJess, he's also a veteran, and all those others out there. Um, we did have
appreciate 'em.
a question in the chat room about the code, but our friend Mr. Lodak, Jurin, I think pretty well has it handled. Little till after the show. And hi Chris, how you doing? Sorry, Ken. Well, let me take a quick break for one of my most important sponsors, and we'll be right.
Are we back on? Am I still muted?
You're on, Jesse.
Okay.
We're back on it. You're not muted anymore.
Okay. Anyways,
That's
I was muted a minute ago before you went to your little commercial here. Ed and I are also doing or trying to do some better stuff ourselves. We've been promoting our Take a Vet prospecting project. We've had a lot of good response from our friends here in the mining community by sending us donations of pay dirt. Some of them sent gold, some of them sent stuff that we take veterans out prospecting or go to where they're at doing demos for them. We make sure that they are able to get some gold to take home with them with no charge. So it's been a little slow for us. I'm having not an easy time trying to get with the right contacts to do this. But I keep trying. I know I have a bucket full of gold I want to give away to these vets.
If you got a good bucket of demo cons.
Yeah.
So maybe just a couple of quick suggestions. You might look at your local VFW.
I never thought of them.
They usually have a pretty good list of veterans that are either back and actively joined in the VFW or are back and haven't decided whether they want to join or not. So that's a good location. The other thing is go to the recruiting stations and talk with the recruiters, because a lot of times when guys get home, because they can't quite assimilate back into civilian life, they tend to hang out at the recruiter's office and just kind of, they talk the same language, right?
Right.
So, talk to the recruiters. They probably have a list of guys that are kind of hanging out, and then go ahead and go up to the Veterans Affairs and just, lay out what you do and why you do it. And, especially if you say that, hey, you're there as a no cost opportunity for these guys to get some therapy.
Gotcha.
It kind of goes a long ways. And at first they may want to have you go with a couple of their counselors, because some of these guys honestly are still pretty volatile,
Right.
So you got to be careful.
Right. I know that there's sometimes you have to be careful, even as little things as to where to set them in any kind of crowd or anything like that.
Right.
So as far as loud noises and things like that. Yeah, I understand some of that. Like I said, I'm a veteran. And I've been talking to people, and it's just even with the Wounded Warriors, I've even offered to take a couple of their officers down. But now, VFW, that's a good idea, and the Veterans Affair, that's another good idea. There's one not far from me here in Toledo, so I will hit them up.
Cool.
And yeah, I'll take a couple of them out, show them. Sure, well, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and usually
right?
you find out. Yeah, usually you find out that these guys, they want somebody that understands them, because, there's so many people in the world that just don't understand it, and if you can just listen and hear them out, that gives them a lot of peace. So, and God knows they deserve it after all they've done for all of us. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got like I said, I came out of Vietnam. I didn't realize, and that's the thing about PTSD too, is you don't always realize that you have it. You don't always realize that you are having problems, and things aren't going the way you thought they should. But it's because of these mental or even physical problems sometimes that keep you from progressing and growing. So yeah, anytime you can get somebody out there to help you, that's great. So yeah, I will definitely hit them up when I get a car. I had my car totaled last week, so I'm out of wheels right now. Yeah, it's not the first time. I'm so used to it.
Not with the road you live on.
Yeah, right. I'm so used to it. I actually go out there to find out if they're okay. But
well, if it's okay, I just want to express a little gratitude. Ken did come over saying, "I want to see if this is BS or not," and he did say, "I think you've got something here. I want to help you." But I'll tell you what, he has been my wingman. He has stood behind me, and I don't know how many of you have experienced launching a new business, but it is not easy.
No,
it is
very hard.
Battle. And there have been discouraging moments where Ken has been there saying, "Klint, get up, let's get this going." And there have been impossible mountains of how in the heck are we going to get to all these gold shows? How in the world are we going to get a mold done? And Ken just says, he stands me up and he keeps me going. And so I'll tell you, I love that man. He has become a dear friend to me. And there aren't a whole lot of people in this world that'll be that way. And I honestly don't know why he's so nice to me. I am just so grateful for it. And I want to express some gratitude to others too. I mean, you see Tim out there and his whole crew, the Prospectors Radio. They have been just great, open arms, very open-minded, and very supportive. And I really appreciate the Prospector Radio team.
Oh, us too. I mean,
me too. Like
I love
Ken,
those guys.
Like Ken with you, Klint. Tim and Jesse are with me. I have to treat my channel like a business now, literally, because I have so much of my own personal capital going back into it. Unfortunately, it's still fun. I love it, but a lot of times it's my second full-time job. And there's times I'm done. I've had it.
Come on, we gotta get this.
I can't afford it no more.
We need to do this.
And,
look, you've already made the commitment.
And
well, it doesn't stop there. I mean, the AMRA people, absolutely supportive and amazing.
Oh yeah.
The GPAA leadership have just opened their arms up and stood with us and opened their minds. It's so easy to just reject what's out there, and they've been right there to be open-minded and look at it and understand it and support us. But you know who I really, really am amazed by are all the people. We get so much positive feedback, and I love hearing the stories of people using it.
Well, don't put a bad product out though, because you'll hear the feedback. I mean, that's the thing about this group. You know, we're gonna tell you, we're gonna pat you on your back when you do nice, but if you bring out, you know, a piece of crap, we're gonna let you know about it too.
I'm okay with that.
Well, absolutely, you need to be.
If it's no good, I earned it.
Yeah, right.
But the people have just been amazing, and the only naysayers out there I've even found are people who don't have one yet. And you know what? I'm not mad at them. I kind of get it. You know, there's so much out there that's mining the miners, and that's not my goal. My goal is to make it easy for people.
Well, you know, that's really funny because you're right. There are a lot of people out there mining the miners, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing when you're ripping them off. But I mean, who else is going to buy your product? The miner. I mean, you know. I mean, so I know I hear people say that, oh, they're out mining the miners. They're just trying to get over on the miners.
To me, mining the miners is when I have a piece of junk equipment and I know it, and I sell it.
Right, or you're selling them a shitty claim. Pardon my English. Beep.
Yeah.
That's mining the miners to me. You don't care about the miner. You just want money.
Right.
But the people that have a dream or a great idea and they're just trying to get it out there, I am 100% behind them. And that's why we will never knock another person's product. We will actually probably help them become successful. There was a Kickstarter of a panning system that it didn't look like it was doing very well. I went out and I supported him. I bought one from him so he could give him a chance, you know?
Right. And again, this is part of what we do. Is we try to help people with new products, try to get it out there. I mean, you look at, and I keep going back to the bucket because it's one of our really our good examples of us taking a product that has been on the market for, well, when I found it, it'd been on the market over a year, and it had no views on his YouTube page. It had, I went to his web page, and he had maybe a couple views on it and a couple comments, and I talked to the man, and we made a deal, and we got it. We produced a video, a review on it. I mean, it was a product that we actually like and we use all the time. You know, we use it in testing other equipment.
Yeah. And
so yeah,
just like your product, Clint, I use it a lot and like it. And more I use it, the more I like it. Just like the Dream Mat in the bucket. And that's one of the reasons why you're here right now is because we believe in your product and we like your product.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It means so much.
I like the way it works. I just have a hard time with it. And I know it's me.
Jesse, I want to offer you
there.
I want to offer you up a piece of advice real quick on using it. Is, you know, right now just focus on the motion. Don't focus on your time. You know, you're wanting to get through it fast, and so you're probably dumping it out a little bit too fast. That's what we see.
It could be, yeah.
And we see a lot of people do that. So slow down the angle of your tilt and until you get comfortable, and also use both hands. I know it's really hard to do that because we're all, you know, traditionally one-handed panners. But try to go to use both hands.
I do have a technique where I use both my hands. I pan in front of me, and you know. But again, well, you're suggesting I might be tipping it too fast. It's very possible. But I wind up just going in circles. I really.
And that's, you got to get out of that circle motion.
I know.
The other thing I wanted to bring up about Gold Claw real quick, guys, is that, you know, when Clint says that he's not out there mining the miner, keep in mind that we give away At every show that we've gone to, we give anywhere between probably 15 to 30 pans out. Those are $50 pans that we just give out to people, because it's not so much that we want, of course everybody's out to make a little bit of money, but we're not out to get rich on these pans. What we're out to do is get the technology that works in people's hands so that they can find the gold easier and keep it. We hear time and time again how frustrated people are running their black sands, afraid of losing the gold, not sure what they're doing in the panning department, and so they just give up. Well, the fun is actually uncovering that first speck of gold. And then when you start seeing the line pop up and it starts to go completely around the ring of your pan, that's when it gets exciting.
Right.
That's what we're after.
And to me, the biggest magic to me is people who have not been able to pan gold before, they're brand new into it. It's a 15-minute to an hour of their time, their first pan, because they don't have the feel at all. And so you take that down to a minute to 30 seconds, their first time using it. It's night and day for them. They can actually go out and have fun getting gold. For a pro, they go from 3 minutes down to 30 seconds to a minute. Not that big of a deal for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, that extra 3 minutes, though, was a lot of time. I was panning so much. But for somebody new, it's a life-changing experience. It gets you into a gold world that you really, most people stop because they can't get through their first pan.
Right, like I said, everyone, for me, that pan, I mostly use it when I'm out testing, because that's how it works best for me.
It does.
As far as for a finishing pan, at this point, it doesn't work so good for me. So, it just takes more practice, and I know it.
You're going to be at Indy, right, Jesse?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I want to make sure that you're going to come by and you're going to get a special demonstration by both Klint and I, because believe it or not, even though he invented this thing, he and I both have different techniques, and both of them work phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
and we all have different techniques on panning too. Everybody has their own little technique.
And we won't tell you whose, but one of ours is phenomenaler than the others.
Phenomenaler.
We got a new word.
Now, keep in mind, he's the brains of the outfit, and I'm the mouthpiece. So.
Okay, we got that. I will definitely come
banter a little bit.
I will definitely come over there and get some lessons from you guys. I really will.
Excellent.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there both days. I think Ed and I will probably be working one day and then flashing around the place the next day.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Booth or the chapter wherever needed,
right.
And then networking.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Me, I like working the panning trough. That's fun. I like teaching.
It is a good time. The kids.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Ooh, I almost ran out of battery here.
Plug it in.
Plug it back in. Oh well.
Now, Ken, what made you decide to become a YouTube creator?
Probably the biggest thing for me is watching all the different videos that were out there. There was nothing that was real succinct in teaching me how to go about, finding gold, or, when I first started out, I started doing some of my own inventions. For instance, I had a chalkboard slate fine gold recovery table I did a video on, and it worked phenomenally. I've had it for, I don't know, probably 8-10 years, and I still use it, but it's just not my favorite tool now. But anyway, that's kind of how I started, was just trying to show people how they could go about finding gold and do it inexpensively. And since then, my philosophy has changed a little bit. I'm not gonna waste the time and money trying to build a lot of this stuff when there's people that are doing that out on the market, like Klint. I'd absolutely just dig his pan, obviously. But then there's other guys out there that are doing some really cool things. You know, Jim Hamilton's got his little water table. To me, that works just as good as what my chalkboard slate did. So that's kind of how I got started. And then, like I said, it morphed into taking other people out. I wanted people to be able to see how newbies or people that have never been light up when they find their first sparkle of gold. So that's kind of how I started it. And, you know, I've been out of it for a little while just because we've been focused on other aspects of my life. But starting to get back into it. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Idaho. What was that, last weekend, Clint? I went to Idaho last weekend on a mining excursion to check out a couple of new claims, and we got about just under a gram of gold in a day of working with some high bankers and dry washers. So, you know, it was a good sample, but there'll be video of that coming out. And then I've got some reviews that I did. I did a review for Jim Hamilton's pay dirt. And long story short, I dropped my camera, so I had to go out and have somebody retrieve the data off of it. I've got that, and I'm going to publish that video here in the next little bit. And then I've got some footage of a little local tributary that I've been working just up from my house. And so probably in the next month here, you'll see at least 3 new videos come out, and well, you know, hopefully more. I've just been trying to put so much effort into not only gold claw, but some other things that I do in my life. Like I'm into archery. I'm crazy about archery. So just haven't put the focus back into American Prospector the way I want to.
Excellent. Yeah, I got into it, geez, a long time ago when I was back home in Washington, and I couldn't find hardly anything on about prospecting back home or in general. I think Darcy Cooper was on. It was in '08.
Right.
And I had a real crummy easy share Kodak camera, and I just started taking 10-minute videos. I actually started the channel for my action sporting goods store, you know, for snowboards or the Banshee river boards, or my bread and butter was paintball. So, and you know, '08 was the crash. No one had money to spare to play.
Yeah, we're all kind of waiting for Ed to finish editing our North Carolina trip
So,
with all the stuff we were doing down there. We did some video for the Dream Mat that we like. So one of these days, Ed'll get that video done, and we'll throw that up.
Hey, Jesse, don't mess with the editor because things happen to make
I am not messing with them.
things make it into those videos. You know how it goes.
I know it's not his full-time job. It's not his day job, and I understand. But you know, people keep asking me, when's the next video coming out? Oh, well, it's an editing.
it's
an editing. That's the easiest thing you can say. It's an editing.
Yeah, it's right here in editing. That's right. That's my story, and I'm keeping to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's where I started, Ken, and now my channel is what it is now. I would love to think it improved quite a bit.
It's getting better, Ed. It's getting better.
But hey, it's changed my life, literally. And I have a lot of friends even on our call right now. Dano I've met through YouTube and through the prospecting community and lifestyle. And,
Right, Ed. Well, you met me videotaping me in my gold snare.
Well, we belong to the same chapter too.
Right,
So,
but I mean that's where you met me though. I wasn't doing that, and I'd watched some of your videos at that point.
right, and like Chris, Prospector 2107, met him through it, and geez, the Bogans, David Amita, and actually I'll be meeting you, Ken, and Klint, all because of my videos and my channel.
Right?
So,
Right, GPS.
well, yeah, you know. I was a member of GPS and said to Tim, hey, do you mind if I kind of give you a plug? I actually saw Swifty do it, and I go, it's a great community, I'd do that. And shoot, I bought a t-shirt and stuff, I'll do that, yeah. And been doing it ever since, and Tim's helped me out tremendously. I don't know where I'd be without him and some other people.
Look at you now, Ed. You're famous and far from rich.
And well,
You know, that's
Far from rich.
that's really the great thing about this community is that, you know, it doesn't just stop with, hey, I know you. It stops with, hey, I know you, and I noticed the last time you were on the river you were doing this. Have you ever thought
Right.
about this?
Right,
You know?
right.
And that's what I think appeals to a lot of people when they start getting into the mining community, is that it really becomes more like a family than it is just a group of friends. I go to these shows now with people that, you know, I just met last October, and they're, you know, they want to hug and they want to know where my kids are and what's going on and when I'm going to come back out and see them. And, you know, that's just I guess that's kind of refreshing in today's society when people are so closed doored and they don't want you in their business. They don't want to know what your business is. You know,
Right.
we've got kind of a built-in family. So,
Yeah, well, we're all like-minded, you know, so
Right.
that makes a big difference right there. We're all thinking about the same thing.
Gold.
You know, we're thinking about gold and our
Getting
freedoms and our ability to be outside, and not to worry about the man all the time, and you know, so we're a lot of like-minded people, you know, with our own idiosyncrasies. But what a great group! I mean, wow! I've been in a lot of different groups that were, you know, they were okay, but I've made more friends and had more fun being part of this community than most other communities I've been part of, you know, in my long life.
I have to agree.
Oh, same here.
The gold people are good people.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, absolutely.
They are.
I went down and met the club in southern Utah. Awesome. We were just adopted by the ones up in northern Utah, Ken and I, and really good people, just open-armed and, you know, they just love seeing what you've been up to.
Look at our buddy Patrick Moore here. Oh, fried bologna sandwiches. But
Yeah, that's what we had this weekend out prospecting. That was our main food.
Look, the first time I met Patrick Moore, I met him at the Swank, but he was open. He opened his door to me and Ed. We went to Indiana for the weekend. He said, "You guys come over here. You stay. You know, I'm less than a half hour from the dig site. You just come stay with us, and it'll be good." And you know, that's like our second home in Indiana. Thank you, Patrick. You're such a great guy. and his wife or his significant other, Wendy.
Patrick and
love that girl. And yeah.
That's right. You're in Utah, both of you, right? Mr.
Yes.
Lodak in our room is also a Utah prospector. It's really
Is he
good
really?
guy.
Where is he from?
Is it the Salt Lake City area?
I'll have
Mr.
to follow up
Lodak?
today.
I'm sure
I'll
he'll
have to
answer
follow up
us.
with him and find
Yeah.
out. Oh, is it Jaron?
Yeah, Jared.
From
Jared
GPS.
or Jaron?
Yes, Jared.
Jared. Okay, because I know
Jaron.
Jaron. I know a Jaron. Absolutely.
Jared.
Yeah, we know
GPS.
Yeah, sure you do. Everybody knows Jaron. He's the man.
He is the man.
He is. Do you know how he prospects? You want what he does to prospect?
What's Jaron's last name?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. What is your last name, Jared?
Jared or Jaron?
Jaron. Jeron.
Wheeler.
Wheeler, that's right.
That's
Jaron
right.
Wheeler. He prospects in foundation holes.
What?
Yeah.
He's
He
in
must be up in the-
construction.
You'd be surprised. There's actually a lot of construction guys that do that when they
Oh,
go in
yeah.
and they dig that foundation hole. They get down, into the gravel layers
And
Yep.
sometimes
Prospector.
on bedrock too.
Yep, that's
Especially-
what he does.
especially up around Mill Creek, Clint. They've been finding a lot of places up there like that.
I would imagine up on just under the big mine up there, you could find some gold under the foundation.
Yeah, it's actually on the east bench. Mill Creek is.
Yeah, that's where I would expect it.
Magna. He lives in Magna area.
Yeah, that's why. So Rio Tinto, which is the largest open pit copper mine in the world, is right down there in that area. So they tend to find a little bit more gold in that. A lot of the little canyons up there that aren't private or aren't already claimed. Guys do pretty good.
Yeah, he seems to do pretty well. Now he got into metal detecting these holes too. Now.
Well, I've done the same thing, Jesse, at job sites out west, back home, and even here when we were in Huntington, Indiana. We had to dig down all the way to bedrock. Thank goodness it was only like 5 feet deep. But I found gravel pockets and sand pockets, and I'd play with it.
Oh yeah.
Gold is
But I
where you
just think-
find it.
Well, when I first started watching Jaron on YouTube, that's what he was doing. During
Right,
lunch and
running
stuff.
his cube.
Right.
He
Yeah,
he needs some dream mats for that cube. Mini mats.
They're dream mats.
But, yeah. What else?
I see somebody saying $40 is a lot for a pan, and kind of want
Right.
to comment on that.
Go ahead.
It's made in America. We get so used to Chinese prices. These $10 pans, they're made in China, and it's a startup company. Our base costs are so much higher than it will be when we get completely on our feet. So,
Well, there's
Well,
also
and
molding
here's
and
another-
dyeing work. You have to make the
There's-
mold, and you have to do the design
But he,
to make the mold.
Well, one of the things that I do notice about your pan is the strength of it, the durability of it.
Yep.
It will take a lot of abuse.
I'm going to tell you why that is.
it is
So
a
that-
heavy
Because you
duty
charge
pan.
$50 a pan.
Well, what it is that when Clint wanted to select the product for this thing, the very first thing he said was I don't want to buy something that someone is going to buy from me and have to replace in a couple of years. I want them to have something that is a tool, and a tool should be around for a while, especially if you take care of it. And so
Right.
we went with a material called Triton, and Triton is just a incredible material. You guys might notice this when you're in a restaurant now, you never hear a glass break. Well, it's because the glasses are made out of the same material. It's called Triton, and it's shatter resistant. It's got a tensile strength that's about 7 times, I think it was, higher than any of the polys that we looked at. And so, like Clint mentioned, we're paying more for materials so that we give you a superior product that's going to last for a long time. The second part is we build everything, with these pans here in the United States, and actually we build them right here in Utah. And that gives us a lot more control over the manufacturing processes. It gives us the ability to be on a daily interface with the supplier so we can, keep our cost of inventory down. And then on top of that, these pans, I'm telling you right now, I have done just about everything you can to them, including driving my car on them. And I'm having a hard time getting them to break. So this is
Right.
a tool that's going to last you forever.
I've been very abusive to my pan, throwing it around, kicking it, stepping on it.
Well, Ken, I saw you fold it in half, and I literally abused my pan. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was actually the first one from the promo during the show on GPS that I abused, not the second one that you sent me, Clint. But I folded it up. It was out in my shed. I jumped on it, I even took it out to my truck and I drove over it. It's
Wow.
it's a tough pan, and hey, it didn't break,
Well,
shatter, or nothing. So,
Should have videoed it.
well,
there's a lot of things I should video, or something happens and I go, damn it, why wasn't I videoing? But
Yep.
yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I made it
we've had a
that
few of those.
way. I made it that way because I have pans and I go out when it's really cold and I throw the gravel from across the stream into it and I keep breaking them. I have 30 pans. The ones I use the most, a lot of them already have cracks in them, or else they're so sun bleached that they have, those white marks that come when you hit it with rocks. I didn't want.
I have a bunch of those in mine, but mine was from my dog. My dog got a hold of my pants, got teeth marks along the edges. And...
So this is meant to be a life tool, a lifetime pan, not a 1 to 2 year throwaway.
I've got a question for you. This deal that you're doing for us for tonight, if they put it in their cart tonight, can they pay for it tomorrow? Or is that something that need to do tonight?
Hey, Clint, before you answer this question, I would like to know if we couldn't just go ahead and run this until tomorrow evening.
Well, I know my good friend David Bogan would like that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be careful because I have my team out there doing marketing stuff. So I was trying to keep a nice tight window so I don't interfere with whatever they're doing out there. So
would it really interfere with different product
what if I go
codes or promo codes?
I don't know. I'm not an internet guy. I'm just trying to anticipate them saying, "What are you doing?"
Right. Well.
Okay, how about midnight tonight?
I think we can do
Pacific
that. Let's
time.
go till midnight tonight.
West Coast time.
Okay, sorry, David. That's the best we can do for you.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, David. I'm going to go ahead and get one for you tonight.
Okay.
And then you pay me when I see you. What do you think? I won't do it till you respond. So.
Well, he's coming up to Gold Rush, I believe.
Right.
I was just going to offer to send him some from my PayPal, but that works too, Jesse. So.
Well, you can go ahead and do it. I'll save my money for the shipping costs we got to spend here in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's highlight this one more time, Clint. So they need to use the promo code ED17.
Right.
And that takes the price
down to $34.95, which is the lowest I've ever offered it anywhere for a single pan.
I was going to ask how many commission checks that is, but I didn't want to. At any rate, so we're $34.95, and then we're going to run that until midnight Pacific Coast time.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, guys.
All right, sounds good.
This is by far the best deal I've ever seen him offer. Number one. Number two, the fact that he's doing it until midnight. Take advantage of it because you're not going to see these prices again.
There you go, Ed. He said yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll have to do it after the show. My wallet's upstairs.
There you go, David. So yeah, I know he wanted one, but he says he's a little short till tomorrow also, and I don't want to put you out, so we'll go ahead and take care of that for David, and he can get it back to us when we see him next.
People are taking care of you, David. I'm pretty.
It's just the way we are.
My heart is.
That's just the way we are.
David and meet great people.
Yep.
Now, you'll have to make it to Gold Rush Days one of these times, Clint and Ken. It's a great time during every Labor Day weekend at the beautiful Swank West property. here in Belleville, Ohio, along
Right.
the beautiful banks of the Clear Fork River.
It's been producing gold for what, 20 years now?
Oh, yeah, it's been part of the GPA lease program for about that, yeah.
Yeah.
David, what color would you like?
He's gotta have the purple.
Okay.
Gotta have the purple. $1 goes to the vets.
Yeah, purple.
So keep in
looking
mind,
at
Clint,
Robert here. I've sat on mine.
Clint,
Yeah.
you only introduced him to purple and blue,
There's purple.
and then our
there's
green.
blue.
And the
There's
clear.
classic green. The clear, my personal favorite.
Which, by the way, is the only clear pan on the market.
I love the clear paint.
I do too.
Yeah, I like
Love
it too. When I use it, I like it because I can see.
And then
So,
we also have a limited run of pink.
We have a box of pinks. Nobody seems to. Everybody says, I love pink until you make them.
Not me. I never said that.
We've sold at least 10.
I never said
Maybe
that.
if Dennis Yeager
Neon
watches
pink,
us.
I see. So I got a comment here, Robert. He's cracking me up. He says, I've sat on mine, I've thrown it, kicked it, cursed it, burnt it? How do you burn your
Burned
pan? Is he cooking in it? What's he doing?
That's not covered by a warranty.
And it still remains faithful. That's amazing.
Where's dynamite?
Must be a East Wing.
Now, he also
That's-
said, I wonder what it would cost to have one 3D printed. It cost me about $750 to have one 3D printed.
That was so you could make your mold, right?
Yes. So there's a
Yes.
reference for you.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. And it probably took about 3 or 4 days.
They were pretty fast. They
David
ordered it overnight.
Peters.
Yeah.
the Dream Mat 3D printer for the mold was really expensive too, if I remember, wasn't it?
Yep,
Jesse?
yep. And it took them like 3 days. That was for the mini mat.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have seen the Dream Mat yet or know what we're talking about. Clint?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very, very cool mat.
Very interesting mat. I love how it uses the little swirling eddies to catch the gold.
Right, because they're vortexes.
Yeah, vortex.
It's a true vortex mat, actually designed for that.
I love that about it.
As opposed to the conveyor belt.
Dan says he's talking about the Garrett pan.
Oh, oh, who Robert was?
I think so. I don't know. That's what Dan says here.
Oh, Dan's just messing with you. I got you. Dan does my job.
Right.
Dan's a Garrett guy.
Where was I now? What were we talking about? I got lost.
Oh, I don't know.
I got lost there somewhere. We were talking about something. What was it?
That,
Oh, the Dream Mat.
the Dream
The
Mat,
Dream Mat.
and the
The Dream
3D
Mat.
printer. And,
Right. Yeah, we're kind of pushing the Dream Mat a bit because we've got to deal with the inventor and manufacturer of it, which is another product made here in the United States. It works really well. We've been using it, testing, checking tailings, checking everything. We're not finding any kind of significant loss at all on these mats. Can't wait to. He's got again. There's you guys. You invent one thing and you're not happy with that. You want to invent something else. So, like with you got the claw. Now you're gonna make it bigger. You're gonna make it smaller, and now you're making a machine. Well, same thing with a Dream Mat. They got this, that mat, and this mat for cleanup and different stuff. So
I would imagine.
it's and then again, Goat Hog, the same way. He does the same thing. he gets out a new mat, and you go, oh, that's cool. I'm going to get that mat and try it out. Next thing you know, he's got another new mat. And you guys just like to mine the hell out of us, don't you?
But then you got to try it
Yeah.
all.
Well,
Remember,
hey,
we
be
talked about mining the miners. That ain't
right.
what they're doing.
No. Every piece of equipment that we try is about making it easier for us. So look,
True.
the bucket.
The
bucket. I don't like carrying buckets, so we check
Neither
that
do
out.
I.
And we love it. You know, the gold snare. We use a 2-inch gold snare. That's kind of our primary tool because we like to dredge, but who wants to carry a bunch of equipment down to a creek and drag it when you can take a nice little compact tool and it does just as good a job as any other tool. And that's the thing. There's nothing out there that's going to catch everything, and we know that.
Well, and that's something to really kind of focus on, Jesse, is that, number one, there's no piece of equipment out there that I've ever heard of that has been able to stand behind 100% capture rate.
Right.
And if they do say it, somebody's going to prove them wrong.
Oh,
guaranteed.
yeah, I'd be glad to prove them wrong. And I'll either back you up or prove you wrong,
Right. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing is that, when we say that we hear people talk about mining the miner, first of all, we have to remember that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, they were using sheepskins and pouring, their cons over sheepskin and then pouring a bucket of water over that to get their gold out.
Where the term the golden fleece came from.
And so, it's not necessary to have all these grand tools, right? But what these grand tools do for us is they make it easier and they make it more rewarding. Remember back in the days when the Egyptians were all in gold, it was slaves that were actually doing that work.
Right.
In Africa, it's still slaves doing that work.
Right.
In some of the South American countries, it's still slaves doing that work. Well, they're doing it the hard way. And we want to make it easy because two things start happening then is number one is that, it equalizes the gold market, if you will, when you have good tools out there. It makes it so that the big companies are not getting any more than the little companies. The difference is the amount of land that they have. We want to make it so that people can get that land, and the way that you get that land is by reclaiming more of the gold that you're currently missing.
Right.
So, that's really the philosophy behind this is that we want to make it so that everybody has the same opportunity, and it levels out this playing field so that everybody has a chance of getting the American dream, if you will, right?
Right.
Remember the settlers walked across the plains and picked up gold by the handfuls. That gold is gone. Now we've got to go a little bit deeper, and it's a little bit finer.
Right. You got to look for it a little harder. And like you said, with the new equipment coming out all the time, for me, one of the most important things is to learn your equipment. If you learn how your equipment operates and how it should operate and how you have to operate it in your particular area, then you stand a chance of making some real finds. But you can't get a piece of equipment and look at it, try it once or twice, and go, "Oh, that didn't work. Go find something else." No, you got to learn your equipment. So, like with this pan, with your dig system, I have to learn how to use it properly in order for it to do the best job that it can for me. I'm having difficulty with it, and I know it's not the pan. I know it's me, and I just keep working on it. So,
well, and that's the other thing is don't think that you're going to get every flake of gold in the first pan that you run.
Why not?
It's just not going to happen.
Just
not. But that's what happens, and I've seen so many emerging prospectors, people that are just starting into this, that sit down and every little rock that's in the pan, they got to turn it over and they've got to examine it.
Right.
Guys, let's stick with physics here. Gold is 17 times heavier than water. It is going to be in the bottom of that pan if you liquefy it. So stop wasting your time picking through those rocks. Get down to where the gold is, and if you happen to lose a flake or two, don't worry about it because remember, right behind it, there's 20 more where you just got this from.
Right.
Well, we've got ourselves especially with our equipment that we've been using over and over again and playing with it. We've got ourselves to the point where we don't even look at our tailings anymore because we know our equipment.
Your system. Yep.
We know our system. We know what the piece. any particular piece of equipment that we're using, it's because we've been working with it and we know how to use it now. So we're not worried about it anymore. I mean, at first we go, anytime we get a new piece of equipment we're trying out, if you watch our videos, you'll see that we're constantly checking our tailings, you know, for a while. And then after a while we go, that's not even worth the effort anymore. You know, okay, we lost one piece. That's okay. We'll get it next time. Or we'll find a bigger piece.
Right. You're always going to lose something or anyway.
Right.
Well, it's been over 2 hours. I know
it has.
Ken needs to bail, and I'm sure they're a couple hours behind us, so I'm sure they have some stuff they need to take care of. Or do you guys want to hang out a little longer? It's all up to you.
Well, I think we've worn these people out long enough. We ought to let them go.
Oh man!
Yeah, I've got to go, but I do want to thank you, Ed and Jesse, and the whole community for letting us join you tonight and talk about Gold Claw and our experiences with gold and in the gold industry. I do want to say again that I can't stress enough the importance of supporting our troops that are actively engaged and the guys that are returning home.
Absolutely.
And also continue to supporting other businesses in this gold industry. I mean, you guys really got to think about something. You're part of a heritage and part of a legacy that really should be carried on, and it's what defined us as a country. So unless we're out there propagating that and educating people, it's going to be a dying trade. So
Also get involved in AMRA. I mean, they're here for us.
AMRA, GPAA.
Right.
Gold Prospector Space.
PLP, Gold Prospector Space. There's also Mining Alliance out of Washington State, or Resource Coalition, I believe it is.
Yep.
And support your wounded warriors.
Absolutely.
So thank you again, Ed, and I'm going to bail out of here, guys.
Ken, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work. Same with you, Klint. Thank you very much for being on our show.
It's been an honor. We're talking to the greats.
Hey, it's
I love inventors. I love tinkerers and inventors, and
they always seem so smart to me.
That's one of my goals with this show. I have Mike Pung coming up and Lee Hirschberger and a couple of inventors. Hopefully Red Wilcox will be with Mike Pung on the 29th, but that's one thing I want to do with my weekly show is get inventors of prospecting products out and on with us. And
don't forget the great Dennis Dayton.
Oh yeah, don't go away, people. He'll be right up.
Where is he?
Oh, you know how Dennis can be, and so he should.
So I see we just lost
Ken. Yes. That's all right.
Good night,
Ken. Good night, Ken. Thanks again, buddy. And look forward to seeing both of you in Indiana.
Absolutely. Good night.
Good night. It was a pleasure.
Very much so.
Well, we'll see you in Indiana.
All right. Wait, I think I got a phone call.
What?
Hello? Hey, what's up, Dennis? You can't come on. What? Okay. You
tell him to call Klint.
Call Klint. Call Klint Washburn. Yeah. Gold Claw guy. Yeah. You could have been in Skype with us talking the whole time, but no. Okay. Well, I have Ray Russo, fellow YouTuber and Alaskan gold miner next week. Want to follow him? Excellent. Okay. Well, get back to your M&M wrappers and get to work, boy. Ooh. Okay. Okay. See you on the river soon, buddy. Later. Bye. Oh well, I guess the Indiana gold hunter ain't gonna make it after all. So
I don't want to hear him complaining.
I'm sure I'm sure we will. Just listen to the show tomorrow night, the West Coast edition of Gold Prospectors Radio with Tim Grimes, Ron Harrison, Rich Cooley, Kathleen Biffle, Dennis Dayton, and last but not least, Scott Tony Swiftwater. Scott Swiftwater Tony?
Oh,
Swifty.
yeah, he's going to be out in the Gulf field. Swifty.
Yeah. So, catch them tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 Pacific Standard Time.
Right. Yeah, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern.
Right.
All right. Well, it looks like everybody's getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
We're ready to say good night.
See how they are.
Well, it's probably time for us to cut out, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else except the Gold Rush days at the Buckeye chapter. I think I mentioned them.
Yeah, and I mentioned Ray Russo is going to be on next week.
Right.
Along with Dennis Dayton, maybe. Anything, Dano?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Oh, is Dano here?
I was just listening.
I
Well,
guess. I haven't
jump
heard you
in
all night.
anytime, buddy.
Oh, I
Jump in.
know. I know.
And again, thank you very much, Clint. Thank you for the promo for our audience. And again, I'm really looking forward to meeting you at the Indianapolis show here in October.
Well, I guess that's it for me, too. Well, I will say good night.
All right. Well, then, you all have a good one and good night. Thank you all very much for joining us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Dano.
Night, Jesse.
Good night, Ed.
No, doggone it, that one.
Oh, well, heck.
5, 4, 3,
Should we talk about nuggets now?
1. They're not hearing us. Oh, they're hearing me.